Well, hi, and thanks for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. Today we've got the RWS Diana Model 34 air rifle, and we're going to go ahead and put it on the bench today and install an Air Rifle Headquarters tune kit. This is from Jim Macarri, and it's a really well-known company that produces some very fine products for air rifle enthusiasts. Highly recommend you check them out if you haven't done so already. Now, the reason we're going to do this today is twofold. First of all, let me show you what the gun's producing as far as velocity goes, but I want you to focus on that extreme spread of 30 feet per second. That's a little bit too much as far as the range between shots as far as velocity goes. I'm going to see if we can't tighten that up a little bit today. And the second problem with this gun that I have is a very annoying spring buzz. And if you folks have been watching my channel, you know I can't stand the buzz, so we're going to try to do something to rectify that as well. This kit should definitely take care of that. So give a listen. This is what the gun sounds like now before we install that kit. Alright, so if you're anything like me, you find that to be a little bit annoying, so stick around. We're going to fix that, and this ought to be fun. So thanks again, folks, for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. Okay, so the first step, of course, is to remove the stock from the rifle. From here, we'll take off the plastic end cap and set that aside. There are two pins at the rear of the receiver. Both of these are what are holding in the spring assembly. There's a lot of preload on this spring, so it's best to put it in a spring vise or a spring compressor. I'm adding a little bit of force to the back of the receiver just to take some tension off those pins, and then I'll drift them out with my punch. Once the pins are out, we can go ahead and back off. This will allow us to free up the trigger unit. Set that aside. Next, we remove the mainspring assembly, which includes the spring guide. Break the action open, and then we can remove the pivot bolt. There's a small spanner nut that'll come loose when you do remove that bolt, so make sure you don't lose it. Next, we'll push out the bushing that the barrel pivots on. Then we can remove the barrel assembly from the rifle, disengaging the cocking arm from the receiver. Careful for the bearings on either side of that barrel. You'll see one just fell loose. You don't want to lose those. From here, the piston should slide out of the receiver tube. Next, we're going to want to clean the parts. We're using 91% isopropyl alcohol. We're going to swab out inside the cylinder, and then we'll swab the, we'll wipe down the piston as well. We want to remove all those traces of oils that were in the gun and grease and so forth. You'll want to have a look in that tube when you're done to make sure there's no debris in there. Run a dry patch down to dry everything out. What we've got here is a little bit of moly paste. We're going to apply a very small amount to the bearing surfaces of the piston as well as the edge of the piston seal. We don't want to get any of the moly forward of the edge of the piston seal, in other words on the face of the piston. We want to try to avoid that if we can. And now we're ready to reinsert the piston into the receiver tube. Try to maintain alignment with the slot in the piston and the slot of the tube. Here I'm just holding the edge of the seal tightly down with my thumb to help eliminate any damage to the seal as it passes the last of that slot. Next we'll reassemble the barrel assembly. The cocking arm gets engaged first. Then you can swing the barrel breech around, making sure that you don't lose those bearings. I like to hold them down with my thumb and forefinger until I get the forks of the receiver engaged over them. Line up that hole as best you can by eye. Take that bushing and set it in the hole and just wiggle everything around until it drops in. Next comes the bolt, then the spanner nut on the opposite side. Tighten everything down nice and securely. You want the barrel snug enough so that it will maintain its position at any point in the arc when gravity is acting upon it. Here we see the new spring and spring guide and top hat assembly alongside the old spring and spring guide. The new spring and top hat and spring guide fit together nice and tightly with no slop at all. This should help eliminate vibration. We're going to put a little moly on the bearing surfaces of the spring guide and the top hat. There's a washer between the spring guide and the spring. Both sides of that washer should get a little bit of moly as well. Along with the kit comes a little bit of heavy spring tar. You're going to want to coat that spring with the spring tar. You don't need a lot, just enough to coat those coils. Insert the spring and guide, and we're ready to put it back in the spring compressor. Get everything lined up and wind it back together. Once those holes are lined up, go ahead and insert the 2 retaining pins. Now we can remove the action from the spring compressor, reassemble the stock, and we're through. Of course, you don't want to forget to put the end cap back at the end of the receiver. Wiping everything down just to get my fingerprints off the portions of the receiver that are going to be covered by the stock. And that's it, a job well done. Okay, so the tune kit has been installed, the ARH or Air Rifle Headquarter tune kit. And the first thing we want to do is see what the gun sounds like, see if we got rid of that annoying buzz. So let's have a look at the gun and see what it's doing. These are the same Crossbow Premier hollow point pellets that we were using on the bench test a few videos back. But let's just see what the gun sounds like now. You heard it before. I'll give you a taste of what it sounded like once more. Alright, so that's your before, and this is after. It feels like it's got quite a bit of power. Got a nice, quick, fast recoil, and you heard that sound. There's no spring buzz whatsoever. So let's try that again. Very pleased with the results so far. We're going to see what the chronograph has to say in just a second. But let's hear that again. So this is before and after. That makes me smile, folks. One more time. Very nice. I really like a smooth shooting rifle, and this one is definitely a smooth shooting rifle now. So once again, before and after. Oh, sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. So next we're going to put it on a chronograph and see exactly what kind of results we got with that, and we'll compare it to the original chronograph readings as well. So stick around, and thanks again, folks, for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun Channel. Out here again with the Diana model 34, and we just installed that ARH or Air Rifle Headquarter tune kit. Now, I think I told you that was a high output kit, but I already ran a couple of shots over the chronograph before I started the camera, and it caused me to go back and check, and it looks like this is the smooth kit. I ordered the wrong one. I did not get the high output kit, but you know what? I think that's okay as long as we can get this gun shooting nice and smooth with a smaller extreme spread. I'm going to be just as happy as I would if we were shooting a little faster. So without wasting any time, let's see what we did get. And again, this is not the high output kit after all. It's just a kit designed to smooth the characteristics, the firing characteristics. All right, so let's take a look at shot number one. 847. That's a big drop from where it was before. But you know what? Like I said, I'm not so concerned with velocity. Most of my shooting is done from the bench. Shot number 2. 857. Shot number 3. 844. That's not too bad so far. Let's hope the trend continues to keep that extreme spread pretty tight. Shot number 4. 843. All right. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would have replaced the piston seal on this gun, but I neglected to order one. That might have tightened up this shot number 5. 835. So putting a new piston seal in might have closed up that gap a little bit even more. I don't know if we got any blow by, but the piston seal looked really good, so I just decided to go ahead and put it back together with the original seal rather than wait and order another seal and have to wait a little longer to produce the video. So if the gun's not doing what I want, I'm going to go ahead and replace that piston seal over time. But if it's shooting good on paper, then I'm going to leave it just the way it is, because I really like this firing cycle the way it is now. So so here's the numbers before, and then the numbers after, and I'll let you be the judge of whether or not you want to install this kit. ARH does make a high output kit for this gun, so you could definitely keep your power up if you went that route. But I'm real happy with the firing characteristics of the rifle now, so I'm kind of glad that I got the smooth shooting kit. So even though we bought the wrong kit and installed a soft kit into the gun, I'm very pleased with the firing characteristics, and the extreme spread is better than it was, so I'm going to call this a success. And what do we do when we have a success here on the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel? Well, we celebrate and we ring that bell. So let's see if we can't ring that bell with this RWS Diana Model 34 with the brand new air rifle headquarter tune kit installed. We'll get the bell out there at 60 yards. Let's see how we do. Oh yeah, that rings it pretty nice. So I want to thank you folks again for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and by all means hit the bell to be reminded of future videos. Thanks again folks, and have a great day.